G'day, I'm Mark Boxer and welcome to Ryco Workshop Heroes. Now today I'm going to take you behind the scenes of this very cool Adelaide workshop, Tuff Mounts. Alrighty, let's have a look around. Big sticky beak under here. Ooh. Black Monaro, nice. Alright, let's see if we can find him. More hidden gems. What do we got under this one? Ooh, Pontiac. Very nice. What else? Oh, hello. I can hear some work going on over here. Oh, there he is.
Oh, g'day.
Oh, g'day, mate.
How are you?
Very good.
Excellent.
So, mate, just really want to find out a bit more about Tuff Mounts and what's going on in here. Obviously, there's some really nice cars, but
Yeah, cheers.
what's the background of the business? How did this all get started?
Tuff Mounts became what it is today because of a silly little idea. We needed a set of engine mounts for a blown Commodore that we were building, something better than standard. So we made a set for that car and someone else saw them and said, wow, they're cool, make me a set.
Really?
So we made another set and another set and 12 years later, here we are.
Made a few sets.
Yeah, we've made quite a few sets over the years now.
Yeah,
but no, it's been a hell of a, it's a good story and it's been a hell of a ride, that's for sure.
And I guess, I mean, looking around here, it's obviously not just about the mounts. I mean, maybe give us a bit of a tour around, look at some of the toys you get to play with in
Yeah,
here.
cool. As you can see, we've got a lot going on at the moment. We've got a few events coming up, so we're actually near the end of quite a few builds, which is fantastic. So this particular one here is a VH Commodore race car. We've done it to a Group C specification. This is actually one of our own builds.
Yeah.
So we're out racing this one next weekend, hopefully, fingers crossed.
Very nice looking car.
Yeah, it looks great, doesn't it?
Very
Big
fat, yeah.
Yeah, makes lots of all the right
So I like
noises.
that down there, the big pipe hanging
Yeah,
on the
big
side.
pipe's always good.
Nice. What else you got?
We've got the VL Commodore here. This is another car that's racing next weekend. This is a tribute to one of Peter Brock's VL Group A Commodores. So we've just done a few touch-ups. We built this for the owner probably 6 to 8 months ago now, and it's just back just for a couple of little loose ends before it hits the track next week. But yeah, that's done. It's a beautiful car as well, that one.
Also looks like it'll be quite loud too.
It's very loud, this one. The
Very
VH
nice.
is loud, but yeah, this one's quite loud.
So a bit of a V8 thing going on here.
Yeah, there's a lot of V8s at the moment. We do have a pretty cool Barra project next door though.
I like Barras.
I know you like the Barras. Bit of a soft spot for those, haven't you?
Let's have a look. Yeah.
So this one is 1989 Fox Body Mustang, an American car obviously. We bought it over in Victoria 3 odd years ago, and we've done the full transformation where we've converted it to a Barra engine with Turbo 400 and the like. So this car was sort of built and designed to sell these conversion kits into America. The engine has just started really taking off over in the USA.
And speaking of like Barra-powered Mustangs, Adam LZ's car, that's
Adam
something you'll work
LZ,
to,
we supplied a heap of those components to get his car up and running, which is obviously the current shape Mustang, which is also really cool. So
yeah, brilliant.
Our range of American products is shot up a lot just through sheer demand over there, which is great. It's good to see us being recognised over in America now as well.
And the Fox bodies have always been popular, but they seem to be getting more and more popular now, don't they? So.
Yeah, they've just sort of hit their strides. People have accepted them again because they were the ugly Mustang for a long time. But now everyone's actually realised that they're a really good car, great in the wheelbase. They make a really good drag car and plenty of room in that engine bay.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Looks really nice.
Yeah, it's getting there. We had a lot of good support from a lot of Australian companies in the build of this, just with components and the likes.
And what are you hoping it'll run?
Fast-ish. I'm not one to brag, but it'll run a 9. Would love to see more out of it. That's only development and time spent on it.
And money.
And money as well, yeah absolutely.
Always the fun of building those
Yeah,
cars.
most definitely, most definitely.
What else you got to show us?
I don't know, what else you really want to look at? We've got an awesome old Monaro sports sedan over there we've nearly finished restoring.
Let's have a look. Wow.
Yeah, this is special, this one. It's a very, very special car.
And this isn't just something that's like a custom build, is that this is famous, this car?
This is very, very famous car from the early 70s, built by John Shepherd, who has a lot of fame with the HVT guys back in the days, building cars for them and setting cars up. So he built this one in 1974. Laurie O'Neill was the owner of the car, and they put Pete Gagan, big Pete, into the car to drive it. So this car has won lots. It was groundbreaking in its time. So it's powered by a 350 Chev with a Hewland transaxle up back. A lot of the components are GT40. And yeah, so the car's, as you can see, it's nearly finished. It's undergone a massive restoration for the owner of the car, who lives in New South Wales. We've been really privileged to get hold of this and bring it back to where it should be. But it's close, it's good.
And from memory, I haven't walked around the back yet, this is actually a HQ, isn't it? Even though the front's not a HQ.
Correct, so it's a bit of a bitzer, the car. So the car's actually, in its current guise, is a HJ Monaro.
Yep.
This is where it was sort of most famous and most loved. The car, through its first season in 1975, had a lot of issues with cams, which was cams back in the day, because the HJ Monaro never ran a 350 Chev, so they deemed it not legal. So after fighting a lot with Cams, the owner of the car, and Cams came to a decision that the car had to go back to HQ, where it then changed body shape and got some really big boxy flares on it, and actually became a little bit ugly. Whereas this is the guise that most people remember and it's most famous for.
And it's so high tech for its time as well.
Oh, it is. The work underneath this is just, it's just amazing.
I can imagine it only sounds as good as it looks as well.
Oh, I'm desperate to hear it set fire up. It's loud and proud, that's for sure.
And even looking around the back here, just at some of the aero on this car, you'd want to think that somebody who worked on planes or something like that had something to do with the build-up of this car, just the way this works. And
absolutely, all the offset on the vortex generators up the top, which guided air into this knacker duct, which supplied cold air for the engine oil cooler. Yeah, it's just amazing, absolutely amazing.
I love the graphics on it too.
Yeah, all hand-painted signs. The guys that did the paint and panel on this just did a really good job and spent a lot of time researching it.
Wow, and those wheels look amazing too.
Yeah, I'm sick of polishing those.
Wow, very cool.
Yeah.
What else have we got?
What else have we got?
What's the Commodore Utes, or a couple of Commodores over here?
Yeah, a couple of Commodores over here. The plan with this car was just to build a really budget 10-second street car, just to sort of show that it can be done. So this one was a $10,000 for $10,000 build. So we bought the car basically out of a wrecking yard as a rolling shell, and it was rough, and it still is pretty rough. But again, we weren't here to spend money making it pretty.
Now I know what's in this because I've seen this car before, but it's obviously not a 304. Anymore.
No, there's no V8. No. So this one runs a Ford Barra. So this is probably one of the early Barra conversions into Commodores. It's
one for the haters.
One for the haters, upset everybody. It's just currently undergoing a few little mods. The owner of the car, Craig, has sent it back down to us. He's also a New South Wales owner. He sent it back down to us to a new transmission, and he wants to go a bit faster for this year's drag challenge. So just waiting for the transmission to come back for final fit up, and then it's done. Which will be great. Looking forward to getting it ready to go.
And how fast has it gone so far?
This ran a 10.1.
Brilliant.
Back in Drag Challenge 2018.
Wow.
And since then it hasn't been back, so this year we're hoping to
crack it
into a 9, which would be really good.
And speaking of street cars, which that definitely isn't, what's the go there? I recognise that car from a few years back, but who owns that one?
That one's another car that's owned by us. We bought this a couple of years ago now.
Wow.
I've always had a fascination with these, and something that popped up at the right time for the right money. So I just thought I'd stick my hand up and own it. We are pretty close to actually getting it fired up again now. So it's got a new motor, new sequential gearbox into it. All the driveline's been rebuilt. We've just fitted a new Motec M1 ECU to it.
Nice.
And it's just needs basically the injectors wired up to it and a new oil pump, and we should be able to get it going. We're really looking forward to taking that up to the Bend Motorsport Park and putting it around the track and rowing a few gears.
And so what's the history with this car? You know, sometimes they go through some stages and stuff like that, but I mean, how many times was this at Bathurst and who was driving it?
This has been driven by quite a few people. This was originally a VT Commodore.
Okay. Yep.
It was the last chassis built of its kind by this company. That was done for, so it was Kmart, and it had Steve Richards and Greg Murphy were the drivers of it back then.
Yes.
Then it got sold to the Smiths Trucks guys, and then Gary Rogers Motorsports upgraded it from the VT to the VY spec that it is, with a double wishbone front and basically the new category.
Yep.
Where then it was driven by Holdsworth and Noski and a few other guys, and it then ended up down in Tier 2, so in the Fujitsu series, and just sort of sat around for a few years at varying places. I know Simon Fitzner had it, PPG Gearboxes, he had it for a while, it's who we bought it from.
Yep.
And they did one of their sequential 6-speeds into it. And then, yeah, so we bought it from there, and we hope to have a little bit of fun with it now. We wanted to restore it back to its early days.
Well, I really love this era of cars too, because this is when, I mean, I remember being at Clipsal and seeing the supercars of like VY, VZ, just smashing massive big flames out the side. You know, they were angry and they were loud, and
yeah, they just had.
They didn't care about fuel management.
Nope.
It was just
what was that? Last of them being real tough cars again.
All right. How did you actually get into cars originally? What was the turning point for you? What made you?
I've really been around cars a long time. My first, I guess we'll call real street machining experience was, I don't even remember how long ago it was, a long time ago. I was in Ballarat, coming home from a snow skiing trip actually. Just dropped in to see my great-grandmother, and went around to the newsagent, and I picked up a copy of Street Machine magazine. It had a blown XA Falcon coupe on the cover. Number plate was Overkill. And for whatever reason, I don't know, that was just sort of going, wow, that's pretty cool. So I guess that was probably my first real, getting interested into the sport. And then over the years, I've just built many cars and just sort of expanded. And my family owned a business here in Adelaide called Adelaide Special Vehicles, where we built and modified cars, mainly with body kits and suspensions. And I guess that sort of bred a little bit more interest. And then my dad retired, and I thought, well, I don't want to go into knitting, so I'll start my own. And that was 20 odd years ago now. So yeah, and here we are since. So
Yeah, wow.
it's been a good fun, and I've learnt a lot over the years.
Highlight cars for you, what would you say was your favourite cars that you've built?
That's pretty hard because there has been lots, but probably my two, I guess most famous would be the green blown HJ Ute that was on the cover of Street Machine, and then my Commodore panel van that we built, which was the cover of Street Commodores, and runner-up Commodore of the year for that car. They'd probably be my two most favourite cars, I guess.
All right, so pretty good look around, but I swear I couldn't leave until I had a look at this, because I remember seeing it years and years ago, and by the looks, it's got a few years under this cover. So
Yes.
Can we have a bit of a sneak preview before I go?
You got a face mask for the dust and stuff. Still a bit ugly.
Got some spare wheels on it at the moment, but
Yeah, mismatched everything's.
yeah. Now, not going to lie, this was a little bit of an inspiration for my build, but yeah, very cool.
It's still there. It still looks shiny, doesn't it, actually? It should actually inspire me to finish it, but one day.
Well, I reckon what I might do is I might actually just leave you here working on this, so you can just sort of start blowing the dust off and coming up with some plans for what's happening next. But
Sounds like a good idea.
thank you very much for showing me around.
No worries, thank you.
Very cool, and I can't wait to see what comes out next, and I'm really looking forward to seeing that Mustang running as well. So
Very soon.
thank you, sir.
No worries. Thanks for coming down.
Cheers.
Enjoy.